Welcome to Alive and Well, the podcast for the new era of high achievers. You're done burning out, and you're ready to lead, work, and live in a rhythm that honors both your brilliance and your body. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a trial attorney turned nervous system strategist, and I've lived the burnout story. I know what it's like to chase your goals at the expense of your well-being. And I also know it doesn't have to be that way. Here, we're redefining success. It's where productivity feels peaceful, boundaries feel like freedom, and energy comes from within. Each week, I'll share practical tools for nervous system regulation, time mastery, and somatic strategies so you can show up with clarity, calm, and confidence in every part of your life. Because you, my friend, were given a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So here's to life and living it fully. This is the path to feeling alive and well. Let's dive in. Hey, it's Michelle here. You are listening to Alive and Well. Welcome back. If you're listening in real time, the holidays are officially underway. It's Thanksgiving week, and I think it also means it's a week that has a very specific nervous system profile. We all have higher emotional load this week, higher invisible labor, more social demand, more sensory input, more relational triggers, and far less margin. So I think for so many of us who are high performing, high achieving, high capacity, this is the week when our nervous system kind of gets pushed to its limit, not because we're necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just because the holidays activate every single one of our patterned responsibilities all at once. So what I thought we could do today is I want to walk us through 3 of what I see as the biggest energy leaks that tend to drain high achieving women during the holidays. And then I want to give you some really simple somatic tools, these little interruptions that can help you reclaim your capacity in real time when you're starting to feel stressed and overwhelmed. And these energy leaks, they're not like, I don't want you to think of them as, mindset gaps or character issues or like emotional weaknesses. That's not what's happening here. These leaks are predictable autonomic patterns. And once you understand them, I think it makes it easier for us to interrupt them with more precision. So let's kind of dive into each of these, and I'll give you a somatic interrupter and we'll go through it together. So the first energy leak that I see high achieving women have during the holidays is the invisible labor. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The invisible labor is all of the things that, all of the like mental, emotional, and logistical things that we have organized, running, anticipated, prepared for, are working through that no one even sees. But we feel it. We certainly feel it mentally, right? But we also feel it in our body. It's all the cognitive pre-planning, right? What is everyone going to eat? What about my picky kids? What are the dietary needs? Who's staying where? Who's comfortable together? What time should we start cooking the turkey, right? What did I forget? And then it's the micro scanning. Are people okay? Is everyone getting along? Am I about to go off the rails? Right? It's all of that. And what's actually happening in our body, right? The neuroscience is that in that invisible labor, all of those mental tabs being open causes us to go into a state of hypervigilance. This is sympathetic activation in our nervous system. And what happens is that our brain starts running these predictive models. And our brain is constantly searching for any potential problem that might arise before they actually happen. That takes energy. Then we all have increased cognitive load, right? Our prefrontal cortex is fatigued. We are holding open so many mental tabs, so many lists running, so many to-dos, and that can actually start to deplete our executive function. And then another thing that's happening also with this invisible labor is there's actually an activation of our mirror neurons. So your brain is constantly registering everyone else's everything around you. So your brain is scanning and registering other people's micro expressions, right? The tone of their voice, their own stress levels, how quickly they're moving, right? The pace of their speech. Everything is being evaluated. And then our mirror neurons, our brain, is adjusting our behavior accordingly. This means that our energy is draining us even from the inside, right? Even if you never move a muscle. And invisible labor leads to so many different symptoms. It leads to mental fog. It leads to irritability. It affects our breathing, right? Our breathing can become quicker, more shallow. Emotionally, we might feel depleted. We get to the end of the day and we just kind of want to collapse, but we don't sleep well at night. Our bandwidth shrinks. Our nervous system is just burning fuel at a rate that our body can't really sustain. So what do we do, right? How do we interrupt this somatically? The tool I have for you guys for this is shaking and heel drops, i.e. you are discharging all of this activating energy. Because when invisible labor builds up, the fastest reset out of that is mechanical discharge. So here's what I want you guys to do. The next time you're starting to feel overwhelmed by the invisible load, the invisible lists, start to just shake your hands vigorously for like 10, 20, 30 seconds. And then you can shake out your arms. You can hold your arms kind of like goalposts and just shake everything out. Shake out your legs, shake, like just wiggle around, put on a song if it makes it easier. Go into the bathroom if you have people around, but shake as hard as you can. And you're letting your body discharge all of that activating energy. As you're shaking, you can imagine that you're like literally just like sloughing off all of that energy. And then after that, feels like it's concluded, right? You've done this for however many, 30 seconds, let's say. Try a few heel drops. And the way you do this is you're going to come up on your toes. You're standing, come up on your toes, and then you're going to kind of thud down onto your heels. And do that maybe, 7 to 10 times. Up on your toes, and then let everything drop. Bam, thud onto your heels, right? Up on your toes, thud onto your heels. How does this work? Why does this work? First of all, with the shaking, that disrupts your sympathetic motor patterns. So instead of just operating like you do when you're stressed and overwhelmed, you actually get to interrupt that and discharge a lot of that activating energy that's in your body. And then for the heel drops stimulate a part of our body that actually helps us to lower our muscle tension. So it helps all of that tension to just kind of release and soften. And what does that do? That signals to our body that there's been a reduced threat, right? We're safe. We don't have to be so tense, so prepared to fight or to run. And both of those together really help to move us out of cognitive overload physiology and back into a place where we feel more grounded and more present. So give those a shot. That's one of my favorite combos of somatic movements, the shaking with the heel drops. Okay, the second energy leak that I see high achieving women struggle with during the holidays is emotional caretaking. This is the leak that drains the most energy, especially during the holidays. What do I mean by emotional caretaking? I mean when you are managing everyone else's emotional state at the expense of your own. You know what I'm talking about. It's being the atmosphere stabilizer and preventing conflict before it happens and keeping the peace and, using that tone that kind of smooths everything over. And in our body, what happens when we're in that space of emotional caretaking? Well, back to our mirror neurons, what we were just talking about, and our empathic load, our nervous system is absorbing emotional cues from everyone at a neurobiological level. That's exhausting. And then it activates our fawn response, right? Our people pleasing. And it's not that people pleasing is a trait, right? That's not like a character trait that you've taken on. It's actually a survival reflex. We appease because that helps our brain believe that we've reduced what might be perceived as a threat, right? If I can keep you happy, you're not going to harm me. At its most basic. And then there's also this emotional fusion, I think, that happens when our nervous system blends with other people's emotions because we want to belong, right? We want to belong at our most basic. And historically, belonging equaled safety. And then our social engagement system kind of comes in and it also overcorrects in order to try to keep the vibe good and maintain harmony. And this is exhausting. And what does it do? Well, when we're in emotional caretaking, it leads us to lose our own interoception. And what does that mean? It means that when we're in this state of emotional caretaking and making sure that everyone around us is good, we actually stop noticing our own body's cues because we're so fixated on everyone else. So if our breathing has changed, we don't notice it, right? If our muscles are tense, we don't notice it. Maybe we're not even nourishing ourselves or going to the bathroom when we have to because we lose that interoception. Maybe it's resentment that comes up, right? Maybe it's emotional fatigue. We've all spent time around people. We leave and we just feel so drained, right? Maybe it makes it hard to relax. Maybe we start to just feel irritable towards the people that we love because our body's becoming a regulator for everyone else. And that makes it really hard to sustain physiologically. So how do we interrupt this? 30 seconds, nervous system separation. I think this is the quickest, most reliable way to kind of interrupt that emotional fusion that's happening. Try this. Put your hand over your heart. Just gentle pressure. That right there starts to strengthen your interoception, right? Awareness of your own body. And then you're going to breathe. Long inhale in through your nose, and then an even longer extended exhale out through your mouth. 4 to 6 seconds on the exhale if you can swing it. Do that a few times. You can keep breathing that way on your own as I keep going, but in through your nose and then a really long, slow, extended exhale out through your mouth. This type of breath activates the vagal brake. That's your body's calming mechanism, and it reduces all of the emotional contagion. And then just really simple affirmation to yourself, right? Just this inner reminder of like, their stuff's their stuff, right? Their emotions is theirs. Their dysfunction is theirs. Their, lack of planning, their urgency, all of that is theirs. It's not mine. My body is mine, right? My boundaries are mine. And this isn't distancing. It's really just a matter of differentiation. It's helping restore those internal boundaries at the physiological level. And then the last one, the third energy leak that I see in high achieving women during the holidays, boundaries, boundary collapse. That's the leak. It's not about lacking boundaries. It's about our nervous system predicting that saying no isn't going to go well for us, right? And we've all been there. This is why we'll say yes or take on the thing or agree to go to the thing or just like nod along when everything in our body wants to say no. No. What's really happening here? When we have a boundary collapse, what that's reflecting, first of all, there's like a predictive coding of threat. So our brain pulls from past experience. We know that, right? That makes sense. But when it's in this sphere of boundary collapse, our brain is pulling from past experience where we've said no in the past and it's either led to conflict. We've said no in the past and it's led to someone being disappointed with us. We've said no in the past and it's led us to feeling rejected or, being called out that we're not being a team player, what have you. So that predictive coding of threat automatically sends our nervous system into a place where we feel like we have to say yes to avoid any of these bad things happening. And then we start to lose prefrontal access. Y'all know, if you listen to this show, that when we feel stressed or overwhelmed, it shifts what's going on in our brain and it pulls us into a limbic response. When we're there, our decisions just start to default to what's going to keep us safe, what's going to keep people happy, what's going to keep us belonging, right? Survival, not clarity, not intention, not like consciously being able to choose, straight survival. And it's an emotional, social engagement hijack. We say yes to maintain the harmony, not because we have the bandwidth or we're choosing to say yes. Old patterns also surface when we are around our family of origin, however that looks like for you in the holidays, right? And I think oftentimes without us even realizing it, we're kind of having this emotional time travel and we're going back to like when everyone lived in our house, and we start recreating these childhood survival strategies, and they're coming back even though it's been, 15, 20, 30, 40 years since we've all lived together. Those patterns run deep, y'all. And boundary collapse causes so many things physiologically. Our sympathetic nervous system kind of spikes, right? We can be sent into this activated state, fight or flight. Our cortisol surges. What happens? We start to feel resentful. We start to decrease our self-trust. We feel overwhelmed. And then maybe at the end of it, it's been all too much and we kind of just shut down, right? Our dorsal vagal collapse and we start to just space out and dissociate and feel really exhausted. It's because our nervous system has been stuck cycling between this kind of overactivation and then depletion. And it's just running that loop. How do we interrupt it somatically? Micropause and physiological sigh. If you guys listen to this podcast, you've probably heard me teach and talk about the physiological sigh. I think it's the fastest way to restore cognitive clarity. And here's the pattern. Inhale through your nose, right? One inhale where it feels like you're filling your lungs when you're close to being at capacity. Another quick inhale through your nose. So breathing in through your nose now. When you get to the top of your breath, another quick inhale through your nose. And then long, slow, extended exhale through your mouth. Right? Can you do that once? 10 seconds, right? Pause. Pause is the opening for choice. Breath, micropause. Together, this gives you just enough vagal regulation to access your executive function again, where you can respond intentionally instead of going to your patterned default. This is how you say yes slowly and no honestly. Okay, so if any of this resonates, if you've been feeling maxed out, overwhelmed, maybe constantly on edge, maybe the stuff about the mental load really hit hard for you, or you've just been thinking like, this isn't sustainable, right? Something's off. I don't feel good. My mood, my energy, my emotions, my sleep, my body, like, ugh. But I don't know where to start, or I've tried all the things and they haven't really worked. I want you to hear that it's not a you problem. It's not a time management problem. It's not a discipline problem. It's not a like, you're not positive enough problem, or you're not waking up early enough. It's not any of that. What you have is actually a capacity problem. And a capacity problem is not solved by a more efficient calendar or a 3-day weekend or better planning. It comes from your nervous system, right? And that's why I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Honor Your Energy. I've been working on this so hard. And I'm introducing it this week. It's a 7-day nervous system and boundaries reset. And it is so stinking good. It's a short, I made sure to make it super actionable for you guys. I know you have a lot going on right now. So I've kept the lessons. It's a mini course. The lessons are super short and practical. We get right to it. You are going to be given so many tools that will help you through this season. I'm going to teach you how to regulate your nervous system quickly. You're going to stop leaking energy in your everyday life. I'm going to teach you how to interrupt your stress responses in real time and build bandwidth in a sustainable way. And because so much of your energy drains are coming through misaligned boundaries, I'm going to give you guys tools to get crystal clear on the boundaries you need to set. I'm going to teach you how to set them and how to hold them even under pressure so you can protect your capacity. So I've created a boundary alignment tracker. This is a really simple, powerful way for you to visually see where you are overgiving, where you are overfunctioning, where you might be overextending yourself, so you can set some boundaries around those areas and really reclaim your time and your energy with clarity. I also created an energy honoring script library for you guys. These are short, cut and paste language. So if you're not sure how to say no, if you're not sure how to set the limits, if you're not sure how to make the request, if you're not sure what to say to protect your capacity, I have given you a short script for everything. You can literally copy and paste it into your text responses, into your emails, right? Memorize a few of them and use them going forward so you can say no gracefully without the guilt and the over-explaining or spiraling afterward. And then something I'm really excited about also with Honor Your Energy is we're going to do a live workshop together. We're going to do it on Wednesday, December 3rd. And I'm calling it your stress response profile. Basically, we're going to have a high touch, pattern informed Zoom call together where we will map your nervous system's stress response. So we'll all jump on a Zoom. I'm going to record it. If you can't make it live, no worries. But you're going to leave knowing exactly how you cope with stress, what's your default under pressure. Then you're going to learn how that shows up in your body. We're going to talk about how these coping mechanisms have served you because they have. There's a reason why you do these things to cope with stress. But we're also going to talk about how they hold you back. How are they silently draining you? And then I'm going to teach you guys how to set some boundaries around those that will help each coping strategy, right? How you manage stress become more sustainable. And as if that wasn't enough, and I'm like so pumped to share this with you guys. I got so excited creating it because I know how much of a difference it's going to make. If you are already in one of my programs, I gave you access to this as part of it. Personalized clarity, something deeper, you can upgrade to the capacity alignment audit. What does this mean? This means that I've created a really simple way for you guys to track your time, energy, and stress patterns for 3 to 5 days. So for 3 to 5 days, you're going to track where your energy is leaking, everything that you're doing, right? Where you're feeling stretched thin, how your personality pattern is influencing your overwhelm, what's misaligned. And then you're going to give me that information back, right? You're just going to share the Google Doc with me where you've tracked all of this. And I'm going to take all of your data and I'm going to do a full audit. I'm going to give you back a report that summarizes everything. I'm going to show you exactly what, like your blind spots, where you're not seeing where the energy is leaking. I'm going to give you a plan on next steps that are really going to help you see an ROI quickly to expand the way you feel energetically. So you'll get that full audit, which is awesome. Plus, we're going to do a live VIP coaching call to review your audits together. So Honor Your Energy is a 7-day nervous system and boundaries reset. And then the option to upgrade to the capacity alignment audit, only available this week. So if you are ready to stop living at the edge of burnout and finally feel like yourself again, you guys, this is it. Go ahead. It's self-guided, on demand. Do it on your own time. You can tap the link in the show notes now and check it all out. Your nervous system determines your bandwidth. That's just the truth. And I know, and you know, that it's time for you to get it back. All right. That's what I've got for y'all today. Thanks so much for being here. I love y'all so much. I'll talk to you soon.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
Thanks for listening to Alive and Well. If today's episode resonated, would you do me a favor? Take 30 seconds and leave a 5-star rating and short review. It really helps to get this show out to other people just like you who could also use the information in this podcast. And if you're ready to take the next step in regulating your nervous system, download my free Nervous System Reset Guide. It's linked right in the show notes. Inside, you'll find simple, body-based practices to help you feel more clear, calm, and connected starting today. Make sure you're following the show so you don't miss out on what's coming next, because you were made to thrive. Fully alive, fully present, and fully well. I'll see you soon.